And part 2, takeover audit. Takeover audit includes the compliances relating to disclosure requirements of pricing, open offer, verification of the compliance of various stages of takeover process, etc. So, takeover audit primarily includes or scope of the takeover audit. First, identification and categorization, timely disclosure, monitoring of promoters holding, timely intimation, timely reports under the SAST, check timely compliances. So, there are 4 points related to timely. First, timely disclose, timely intimate, timely report under SAST, and check timely compliances have been met or no. So, first, timely disclose, intimate, report and comply. First one is identification and categorization. Identify and category of acquirer, ensuring that the timely disclosures have been made by the promoters, members of the promoter group, person acting in consent relating to the acquisition, transfer and encumbrance. So, before writing this, think of a takeover. In takeover, what happens? Acquisition, transfer and encumbrance. That's what happened now. So, related to that only. Next, effective monitoring of holding of promoters. Effective monitoring of holdings. So, in takeover, majorly holdings will change. So, effective monitoring regarding how much percentage have been changing. Effective monitoring of holding of promoters, members of promoter groups, person acting in consent, and take necessary actions as required. Ensure that timely intimation to sent to stock exchange in respect of transfers exempt under SAST. If any transfer has been happened, that should be intimated to stock exchanges. Next, timely report. Ensure that timely reports are filed in respect of transfers exempt under SEBI. Next, thoroughly examine the takeover regulations through checklist and timeline for the compliances. Next, takeover audit for a business deal may be done as pre-acquisition, post-acquisition. Pre-acquisition why means whether to enter into this transaction or takeover or not, and post acquisition means after acquiring to inculcate the old and new together. So, post acquisition audit also mandatory, and how the acquirer company is treating the target company's management and all that also post acquisition audit will be taken. Next, consequences of the violation of obligations of SEBI SAST Regulation 2011. These penalties include: first, directing the divestment of the shares acquired by the acquirer company, directing the transfer of the shares or proceeds, directing the target company and or any depository to not to give effect to any transfer of the shares, directing the acquirer not to exercise any votings, debarring persons from accessing the capital market, acquirer to make an open offer, directing the acquirer not to cause and the target company not to affect any disposal of the assets of target company, directing the acquirer to make an offer and pay interest on the offer price for having failed to make an offer or has delayed an open offer, directing the acquirer not to make an open offer or enter into transaction. Next, directing the acquirer to pay the interest for delayed payment. Next, directing any person to cease and desist from exercising control acquired over any target company, directing the divestiture of such number of shares as would result in shareholding of an acquirer and person acting in consent with him being limited to the maximum permissible non-public shareholding limit or below. In the proceedings as mentioned above, SEBI shall comply with the principles of natural justice. Next, insider trading. Insider trading audit includes the compliance requirements, event-based or continuous disclosure under SEBI prohibition of insider trading regulations, which include: first, initial and second, continual. Initial disclosure of the trade, which is to be made only by the promoters or KMPs and directors internally. So, next, continual, which is to be made by the every promoter, employee, director in case of value of a trade exceeding monetary threshold of 10 lakh over a calendar quarter. Company to accordingly notify stock exchange within 2 days for company, and for trading days should notify for stock exchange within 2 trading days. Next, submission of trading plan, appointment of compliance officer, pre-clearance for trading, code of fair disclosure and conduct, role of designate person, manner of dealing with the UPSI. So, first, Initial disclosure, continual disclosure, trading plan, compliance officer, pre-clearance, code of fair disclosure, role of designate person, manner of dealing with UPSI. Next, illustrative checkpoints for verification of the compliance under SEBI prohibition of insider trading. First, company has appointed compliance officer. And second, the company has maintained a structured digital database containing the nature of UPSI and the names of the such person to whom the shared information, and also the names of such person with whom the information is shared under this regulation, along with the permanent account number PAN or any other identifier authorized by the law where PAN is not available. And this structured digital database is preserved for a period of not less than 8 years after the completion of the relevant transaction, and in the event of receipt of any information from the board regarding any investigation or enforcement proceedings, the relevant info in the structured digital database shall be preserved till the completion of such proceedings. Normally 8 years this digital database should be preserved after the transaction has been completed, but if any there is a proceedings pending or going on, then till the completion of such proceedings should preserve. The board has designated an officer to administer the code of conduct and other requirements under trading regulation related to first point. Next, the board of directors has formulated a code of practices and procedures for a fair disclose of UPSI. Next, the code has been hosted a website. First, compliance officer. Next, digital database for the UPSA and preservation 8 years or till the completion of proceedings. Next, designated officer to administer the code of conduct and board to formulate the code of practices and procedures for a fair disclosure. The code has been hosted on the website. The code of the conduct has been stipulated the sanctions and disciplinary actions. Sanction means punishments or penalty, including wage freeze means salary will not be given, suspension, recovery, clawback, etc. and any amount collected has been remitted to the SEBI for credit to IPEF. Next, point 9. Company has formulated a code of conduct to regulate the monitor and report trading by insiders as per Schedule B of these regulations. Next, 10. Company has formulated code of conduct to regulate. Next, formulated an internal code of conduct for governing dealing in securities as per the Schedule B. And 11th, every such code of practices and procedure relating to UPSI and every document thereto has been promptly intimated to the stock exchange where the securities are listed. And 12th, trading plan has been formulated in compliance with Regulation 5 if as whether necessary compliance have been made. Next, 17th, any action has been sanctioned by the board for violation. Sanction means punishment. The compliance officer has reviewed and monitored the trading plans. Next, 19th, the compliance officer has received undertaking or declaration from the insider with respect to trading plan. Next, 20, compliance officer has notified the trading plan to stock exchange. 20, the compliance officer has notified the trading plan to the stock exchange. 21, the company maintains the records of the said disclosure as required for a minimum period of 5 years. Next, 22, the company has received the initial disclosures from every promoter KMP directors with respect to the securities held by them in the company. Next, the 23rd, company receives disclosure by every person on appointment of as a KMP or director or upon becoming a promoter within the 7 working days of such appointment or becoming a promoter. Next, 28, the company follows a Chinese wall procedure and process. The compliance officer has put in place appropriate procedures for pre-clearance of trades. Next, 35, any action taken against persons responsible for non-adherence with respect to formulation of code of conduct, any other prevention mode with respect to insider trading as adopted by the company.